Días, gracias por estar con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche, la voz de los latinos en América. Estamos transmitiendo desde hermosa 1470 AM, 96.9 FM y también en YouTube, para quienes quieran vernos en vivo en YouTube. Bueno, tenemos a la doctora Bowers, Michele Bowers. Ella es la superintendente del Distrito Escolar de Lancaster, que próximamente se estará retirando. Doctor, thank you very much for coming with us today. We know that you are almost ready to go to have a very deserved time, and we would like to to know what are your plans for the future.
My goodness, I'm going to first get some rest. Lily,
Yeah.
served as superintendent, but I am excited. I have really thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity to serve as superintendent. So as I think about retirement, I am going to probably continue to find ways to stay active, teach some courses, do some consulting, travel a little bit, and most importantly, just find some time to catch my breath and get a little rest.
Very good. Bueno, la doctora Bowers está a punto de retirarse. El último día de junio es su último día de trabajo, y le digo que qué piensa, qué planes tiene para el futuro. Dice, bueno, pues principalmente descansar, pero también voy a ofrecer algunos cursos en enseñanza. También voy a ser consultora para aquellos que requieran. Pero dice, lo más importante es tomar un respiro y tomar algunas vacaciones para descansar. Dr. Bowers, how long were you superintendent in the Lancaster School District?
I served as superintendent for 10 years.
And before you were there, doing what?
Actually, I was here before as assistant superintendent and deputy superintendent, and I started in Lancaster back in 1999 as assistant principal over at Paiute Middle School.
Very good. What a career yours, eh? Bueno, la doctora le pregunto, ¿cuánto tiempo estuvo ella de superintendente, sirviendo como superintendente? Dice que estuvo por 10 años, pero anteriormente fue asistente para superintendente, también deputy, desde 1999, y fue incluso, empezó como asistente de principal. Then how long is your career in teaching? How long was your career in teaching?
I've been in education a total of about 29 years now.
Okay.
A long time.
En educación estuvo trabajando por 29 años. Dice que es un largo tiempo. But if how do you know, which is, in your opinion, your best how do you say, your best achievement as a superintendent, or anything that you think that you feel proud and you believe that is going to be like your fingerprint, that you were there and nobody is going to forget you?
Oh my goodness, that's not a fair question. I hope it's a lot of things, Lilia. But I would say I am extremely proud of the facility improvements that we've made. The gym over at Endeavor, we built a new gym. We started a new school, Fulton and Alsbury Academy of Arts and Engineering. We started several STEAM programs since I've been superintendent, the STEM and STEAM programs. We started dual language immersion programs. So I think what I'm most proud of is that we really, as a district, embraced our vision statement, which speaks to options, providing options and excellence in education for our students and for our community. And I think that we have worked hard to make that happen.
Do you know, they are a lot of accomplishments. Le preguntaba yo de qué está más orgullosa y qué cree que va a dejar su huella en este distrito escolar. Dice, bueno, es una pregunta difícil, pero dice, bueno, una de las cosas que me siento muy orgullosa fue el que mejoramos o iniciamos el mejoramiento de todas las escuelas en el distrito escolar de Lancaster. Se construyó un gimnasio en una de las escuelas, en Devon. También creamos la Academia Fulton. Esa academia ha recibido reconocimientos internacionales, me parece. Iniciamos el programa de ciencias, tecnología, ingeniería, perdón, artes y matemáticas. También iniciamos el programa de doble inmersión. Dice, pero nuestra misión fue, bueno, nuestra visión fue siempre darle opciones a los estudiantes para que tuvieran la opción de escoger lo que querían, pero sobre todo con excelencia en la educación. Do you know, those are a lot of accomplishments. I know why it was a difficult question, because maybe you were not going to remember all of them, but I'm so glad. How difficult it is to work with board of directors? How was your time there working with the board of directors, and how difficult is that to accomplish your goals? Because I imagine that sometimes not everybody agree with you.
Why would you say that, Lily?
Well, do you know, because you know how it's like.
I know our degree is not an easy task, but I will say that I have been very blessed because I've had an opportunity to work with an excellent board of trustees, and my board members have been trustees for a very long time. They're very committed and very active in the community, but most importantly, they're committed to the kids. So when it comes to not being on the same page, I think if it was something that was good for kids and good for our district and it made sense and it's prudent and financially fiscally responsible, our board was all in. They were very much supportive of the work that we did, the investments that we've made, and the programs that we started.
Le preguntaba qué tan difícil fue lidiar con un board de directores que a lo mejor no siempre está de acuerdo con las decisiones que se quieren hacer. Dice ella que afortunadamente tuvo la oportunidad de trabajar con miembros de la mesa directiva que que han estado ahí por mucho tiempo, que tienen mucha experiencia y que, I'm sorry, y que están comprometidos con los estudiantes. Y dice, cuando se trataba de una idea, pues si era fiscalmente posible, si era razonable, si era para apoyar a los niños y a los estudiantes de las escuelas, pues siempre conté con su apoyo. Así es que ha sido una gran experiencia trabajar con ellos. That is really good. Now, do you know one of the things, could you tell me the demographics more or less, and how difficult it was to understand and to cover the needs of everyone?
Our demographics continue to change, just like the demographics in the community and in the valley in its entirety. But we serve a very large Latina population. So I would say about close to 52%. We're an elementary district, so preschool through eighth grade, and about close to 14,000 students. Of the 14,000, about 52% are Latinx and about 30% are African American, and close to, I'd say about 18% now are Caucasian. So we serve a very diverse population of families.
Perfecto. Le preguntaba yo de la demografía de los estudiantes de quienes son estudiantes en el Distrito Escolar de Lancaster. Dice, bueno, nuestra población ha crecido bastante. Tenemos aproximadamente 14,000 estudiantes y de ellos 52% pertenecen a la comunidad hispana, 30% son afroamericanos y el 18% son de la raza blanca. Así es que dice, es una comunidad muy diversa con muchas diferentes necesidades. Dr. Bowers, you had the task to conduct the district during a very difficult time that was the COVID situation. How did you do to adapt to help students? Because it is my understanding that many didn't have access to the internet or access to any computer. They didn't know how to So it was a big challenge, no?
It was a big challenge, especially in the beginning, because we had to pivot very quickly and focus a lot of time, a lot of energy, and mostly a lot of resources in acquiring the technology so kids could work at home, do distance learning at home, and acquiring hotspots. So from day one, that was a commitment that we as a district made, was to ensure that all of our students had access. So when we realized that, we knew that that was not the case before COVID, but when we found ourselves dealing with COVID, and that had to be what happened, we were all in. So we wanted to make sure that we did whatever it was going to take to get the technology and the access to the internet to our students.
La doctora Bowers tuvo la responsabilidad de conducir el distrito escolar de Lancaster durante uno de los tiempos más difíciles que hemos tenido en los Estados Unidos, que fue la pandemia del COVID. Y le preguntaba yo cómo hizo para ayudar a los estudiantes, a pesar de que sabíamos que había muchos estudiantes que no tenían acceso al Internet, que no tenían computadoras en casa y que de hecho la familia no tenía ningún recurso para estudiar. Dice, bueno, sin duda alguna el primer año fue un año muy difícil donde tuvimos que adaptarnos, dice, y pusimos todo nuestro enfoque en proveer el equipo necesario, en el lograr que se les diera acceso al Internet a través de los hotspots y en desarrollar la tecnología que requeríamos para que los niños pudieran tener la educación que necesitaban. Where do you think that children are right now in the education level? Are they very behind or more or less, or do we need make a lot more effort to put them in speed?
I think that we all need to continue to make efforts to get our kids ahead, because even before COVID, many of our kids were behind. So the reality is that COVID wasn't the beginning of a challenge for many of our students. COVID just shone more light on it. So now it came to everyone's attention that some students were not being served or not being as successful because of COVID. Or it wasn't because of COVID. COVID brought some unique challenges, but before COVID, we had some challenges as well, and we didn't have all students performing at high rates. So what we have now is an opportunity to do things differently so that we can be more intentional to make sure that we help all kids get caught up and be on grade level and do what they need to do to be successful from this point moving forward. And I think it's important that we make sure that we know that everyone takes a part of that work. So it's not just the school, not just the teacher and the administrators, but the parents. There's so much that our families can do to help our kids. And COVID really did show that, because the parents were helping their kids at home.
Bueno, la pregunta fue, ¿qué tan difícil, si los niños se quedaron muy rezagados en su educación debido al COVID y la falta de continuidad en la escuela, como regularmente se estaba asistiendo? Dice, definitivamente, dice, pero tenemos que darnos cuenta que había ya niños que estaban rezagados antes del COVID. El COVID acentuó la situación, pero los niños todavía están rezagados y requerimos de la atención de todos los padres para que podamos sacarlos adelante. Necesitamos trabajar de tal manera de apoyarlos para que ellos puedan continuar su educación. Requiere de mucho apoyo y es lo que hay que trabajar en la comunidad. Sobre todo es trabajo de los padres. Dr. Bowers, we are going to take a break and we will be back.
Sounds good.
El abogado Ángelo Campano ya ha sido elegido 3 veces como el mejor abogado del Valle del Antílope, así que si sales lastimado en cualquier tipo de accidente, solo llámale al 661-945-5300 y él ganará tu caso. Y si no gana, no le debes nada. No esperes más, 661-945-5300, 661-945-5300. Ángelo Campano, el abogado en quien la comunidad confía.
Las vemos todos los días, pero la mayoría solo caminamos al lado de ellas, tiradas como basura, mereciendo ser guardadas, pues todas valen algo.
Sí, como 5 a 10 centavos por envase de bebidas CRB.
Al recogernos, las calles estarán más limpias e incluso seremos dinero para ti. Pero necesitamos tu ayuda. Mira adentro de tu corazón.
Oye, no se trata de corazón, sino de razón.
Llama al 1-800-RECYCLE o visita la página web para obtener información sobre cómo, al reciclar botellas y latas, las cosas mejoran para ti, para nosotros y para Palm Bear.
El virus del Nilo, transmitido por la picadura de un mosquito, causa enfermedades como la meningitis y puede causar la muerte. Los ancianos y aquellos con diabetes o que padecen del corazón están en riesgo. Protéjase, desagüe las aguas estancadas, mantenga vacías las piscinas y utilice al amanecer y al anochecer repelentes de insectos con DEET. Reporte pájaros muertos al 1-877-968-2473, 877-968-2473. Visite abmosquito.org. Amigos, muy buenos días. Gracias por estar con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche, la voz de los latinos en América. Estamos transmitiendo desde hermosa 1470 AM, 96.9 FM. Les habla Lilia Galindo y tengo a la doctora Michele Bowers, la superintendente, hasta el 30 de junio del Distrito Escolar de Lancaster. Ella deja este lugar a alguien nuevo y vamos a continuar con nuestra conversación. Doctor Bowers, what do you recommend to parents to help children to advance?
Thank you for asking me that question. One of the things that I really believe strongly in is helping our kids get those foundational skills, because a lot of the extra stuff is contingent. Their success in doing that high level stuff is contingent on them knowing the foundational skills. So what I mean by that is reading and knowing the basics of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and being able to do that mentally, doing that math mentally. So as we say, know your times tables by heart, practice that, make flashcards, get flashcards, have them add up different, how much the groceries are going to be in their head without using a calculator or without using anything. Have them, give them some responsibilities so that they can earn money and have a better appreciation for the value of things. So give them responsibilities to clean up their room and chores. Talk with them. Have conversations. So I know that we have access to a lot of things that are valuable, but they can also be distractions in our social interaction. So don't just sit them in front of the TV all day. Don't just let them sit in front of the computer all day. Engage them in conversations that promote interaction, that promote logical thinking. You know, one of the best things, good old-fashioned board games. Play checkers, play Monopoly, play some things that get you around the table talking and make you think.
Very good. Le pregunto cuáles son las recomendaciones que ofrece a los padres para que puedan ayudar a sus hijos a salir adelante. Dice, bueno, primero el que les ayuden, que les pidan que lean, que ustedes también les lean y que les pidan que lean, que practiquen sus matemáticas. Deben de saber las básicas operaciones muy bien, dice, como la suma, la resta, la multiplicación, la división, todo eso lo deben de manejar muy rápido. Cuando los lleve al mercado, pídales que hagan los cálculos de lo que se va a pagar en la fruta y la verdura mentalmente. Necesitamos usar sus mentes y necesitamos hacerlos activos mentalmente. Haga también tarjetas con información importante que se pegan en algunas partes de la casa para que ellos estén recordando, y asígnele responsabilidades específicas y las que pueden ser recompensadas por un poco de dinero para que ellos puedan entender la importancia del trabajo bien hecho y la manera de obtener ganancias. Así es que lo más importante, dice, es darles sus responsabilidades y que ellos platiquen con ustedes en la mesa. Cuando sientan en la mesa, dice, no puede estar el niño o la niña todo el tiempo ni en la televisión ni en la computadora. Necesitan tener conversaciones en la mesa para que puedan desarrollar su vocabulario y entonces sentarse todos también incluso a jugar juegos de mesa para que puedan tener conversaciones y eso le permita desarrollar una mejor información. Doctor, another problem that I am seeing with the Hispanic community, because we are more and more Hispanics, then children find other children who speak Spanish only, and they go to be friends with them, and they don't practice the English. So it's more difficult to be fluent in the other language. What do you recommend? What can we resolve that problem? How can we?
Yeah, that's not an easy one. I think first of all, it's a blessing to be bilingual. So kudos to them for being able to speak both languages. But we know if we don't practice it, then we're not as fluent and we don't do it as well. So I think that if that is the case, there's nothing wrong with them interacting with their friends in Spanish only. However, if that's going to be the case, then parents need to think about when is the time that they're going to make sure that their child is using English every day. When do they interact in English? So is that when they sit down together to read something and then they talk about it in English? It doesn't have to be a long time. It just needs to be consistent. So if we consistently just use English, I used to be far better at speaking a little Spanish when I was using it more consistently. But then when you stop practicing, then it goes away. So they have to use both languages so that they can continue to build their fluency in both languages.
Le comentaba lo mismo que he comentado varias veces, que a la medida que hay más niños que hablan español, pues los niños, como uno se siente más cómodo hablando con personas de su propio idioma, te juntas con personas de tu propio idioma, pero eso hace que ya no practiques el inglés y es la lengua que tenemos también que dominar. O sea, dice, yo aprecio mucho que sean bilingües, yo creo que es algo muy bueno para todos, pero definitivamente si no practicamos, si no practicamos la lengua del inglés y del español, entonces el tener, el ser fluentes en los dos idiomas va a ser muy difícil. Entonces no se va a avanzar ni en el uno ni en el otro. Yo les sugiero a los padres que asignen así como horarios en que se va a hablar solamente inglés, dice, porque yo hablaba mejor español, pero ahora como ya no practico o no he practicado como antes, pues entonces ya no es tan fácil. Y todos sabemos que si no practicamos inglés, no es nada fácil. Doctor, you recommended one day reading. Then reading in English and reading in Spanish is going to help, no? And then if you copy the book.
It is. It is. Well, and I'm glad we circled back to that because I wanted to add to that. It's not just about opening a book and saying the words and then you say, okay, we're done. So here's where kids have challenges. We have to teach them not only how to kind of dissect and be able to say the sounds of the letters if they don't know the word so that they can figure out how to say the word. But then equally important is if they don't know what it means or if they're reading, then we have failed them. So when you read either to or with a child or have a child read to you, it's so important that you pause every now and again to say, let's talk about that. Well, what do you think they meant by that? Well, wow, what do you think this character, how did he feel about that? How did she feel about that? What would you do if you were that character? What other ways might they address that? Or that was funny. Why was that funny to you? So there are so many different ways to engage kids around the content. What is it that what we're trying to do is get to comprehension, not just the ability to read words. But if we don't understand what we're reading, then we're missing the whole purpose of reading. when you think about reading initially, when we're young, we learn to read. And that's what we need to focus on, is learning to read. But as we get older, we're reading to learn. So if we don't know how to read and how to connect with the content, it's going to be difficult for us to learn all this information that is put in front of us at every level. So whether that's your, starting 5th grade on into middle school, high school, college, information is put in front of us and we're reading to learn the information. We can't always rely on just being audio or, what people say. We have to be able to pick up the newspaper, pick up a book, pick up a contract, read the directions on cooking recipes, prescriptions. Everything is relying on us being able to read and understand.
Bueno, nos dice que es importante que los niños empiecen a leer desde pequeños, pero también es importante que ya que dominan la lectura, se hagan cuestionamientos acerca de lo que entendieron de esa lectura, porque eso es lo que va a ayudar a que luego tengan la oportunidad de aprender todo lo que viene en todos los materiales más adelante. Dice, entonces lo que yo les recomiendo es que lean o dejen que el niño lea y luego se corte la lectura y se diga, bueno, ¿qué entendiste de esto? ¿Y por qué crees que estos personajes actuaban así? ¿Y cuál sería otra alternativa? ¿Cómo podría terminar la historia diferente de él? De tal manera que le da la capacidad analítica para que el niño pueda más adelante usarla en todo lo que lee y sobre todo para que esa habilidad le va a permitir el aprendizaje de todo el material que reciba en el futuro. Esto le va a permitir leer periódicos, contratos, libros de ciencia y tecnología, todo lo que sea necesario, pero entonces se van a asegurar que lo que está leyendo se está aprendiendo. Doctor, we have one more minute. Do you want to add something else? When is going to be the party? Are you going to have a party or something, or you already have it?
Well, you know what? The district did have a wonderful reception for me about a week ago, and lots of people stopped by to say hello and wish me a fond farewell on my way into retirement. But I do just want to take a minute to thank you personally, Lilia, for being a friend to the district, but a friend to me as well. And I appreciate you and all that you do for our students and for our community as a whole. And it has truly been a pleasure being able to serve and making friends like you along the way. There's still lots of work to be done, but I know that good things are going to continue to happen.
Okay, Dr. Bowers, when you have a free time and you feel like, okay, what do I do tomorrow? I'm going to go to Café con Leche and have some fun there, to have some kind of conversation about our community, about the issues of the community. I would appreciate that so much, and you are going to have so much fun. Thank you so much. Hasta la vista. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Adiós. Bueno, amigos, gracias. Nos vamos a un corte y regresamos.